The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
Right, brother, how you doing, bro?
Good, brother. How are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you likewise, my brother. I'll do a quick introduction. So, guys, just welcome back to another podcast. My name is Stacy. Thank you for joining me on my journey of becoming a content creator. I'm fucking pumped for this little podcast here we got today. We've got my bro here. A lot of people know him as Ice. Not everybody knows as the sausage dog, as the dash hound. not the long body, short limbs.
Personal knowledge, yeah, right? There's a personal knowledge, yeah.
So we grew up in Tokes, played for the Warriors, bro, for a while. Then we crossed to the UK, played a bit of league over there for Trinity Wildcats. And got the call up to come back to Penrith and kicked around for the boys for a little while. Then Nathan Cleary would have been kicking around those days as well, even at the Warriors too, huh?
Yeah, he was like the ball boy for us. So pretty crazy to see how far he's come along. And obviously when your dad's a first grade coach, doesn't guarantee success, but definitely helps in terms of like knowledge. Like obviously he's had to work hard to get there, but man, he had access to knowledge and he's in and around first graders his whole life. So it's no surprise.
Bro, so growing up in Tokes as well, bro, so have you got an older brother, right? You don't really talk about your fams too much.
Yeah, older brother. He's about 3 years older than me. He's very cliche little brother type vibe, cheeky. Got punched in the arm every single day. Just your standard older brother vibes, bro.
Yeah. So a little fun fact about Isaac: he's born on the 12th of December. Shares the same birthday as the greatest entertainer, one of the great entertainers, Frank Sinatra. So,
oh, really?
You didn't know that?
No.
Oh, there you go. Always learning. So a little fun fact, and I'd be interested to hear what your thoughts on this. They say the traits of someone born on the 12th of December is they're endowed with sharp intuition, confidence and intelligent, and they're obsessive perfectionist and aim to make most out of opportunities. True or nah?
Oh, I wouldn't say perfectionist, but I think everything else is like pretty close. Yeah.
I
kind of dive into sort of star signs a little bit at the moment too, and start following the Sagittarius ones. And I'm like, yeah, that's me. That's me.
Yeah. I mean, so as you guys always start off with, I'll always start off with a grateful, bro. Have you got a grateful for today?
Grateful for growth. So with growth comes pain. It's like when you're a kid and you start to get a little bit older, like there's pains that come with moving into new schools and situations, and even your own height, you get sore knees and stuff. Grateful for growth, man, because within business, we're in a growth phase now. We're actually balancing a growth phase and a startup phase, but the lessons I'm learning from this are invaluable.
Yeah, you're on a sort of, not funny, but I mean, you're on a sort of a new chapter, I guess, in terms of your journey as well. Like you've gone through the the building of the stage of it, and now you're saying you're talking about growth and you're sort of building. I mean, we'll talk a little bit more about later, but I want to jump into that, and I'll jump in my grateful first as well before we start diving into the conversation. The thing I'm really grateful for is, mate, everything that you provide and that you do, and it's just you just do it because that's who you are, what you do, and the amount of times or the amount of people that you've inspired to start their own business, start their own new challenges, just purely by following you or looking at your actions. So I'm just truly grateful for that, because a lot of people talk about what they're going to do, but when they see somebody that looks like them in particular, you know what I mean? Like a lot of people that either follow Gary V, so you're the Australian New Zealand equivalent of Gary V, or the old Dave Portnoy as well, you know? So they see that as you being that person here locally, and you translate it that people can understand, you know what I mean? Like you love an analogy, right?
Yes, it was key. And obviously, like I hung around football players my whole life, and I was really big into reading and taking photos while I was playing football, and wasn't kind of the cool thing to do at the time. But what I sort of found is with actually hanging around football players is if I could break it down into a term that they could actually understand, they actually enjoyed talking about the things that I was into as well. So it was sort of a key lesson. I was sort of that kid in my 20s. I used to like to use big words to sort of make myself sound better. I used to love correct people's spelling. Like I pump out so much content now that I make so many errors that like I don't even care about my errors anymore. But I used to be that person like, hey, bro, don't mean to be that guy, but you've spelled this wrong, because it used to make me feel better. You know what I mean? So I was kind of that dude, but I sort of realized that the smarter people I started to hang around with, the easier they made things sound, and the shorter that they could like explain it to you as well. So I never wanted to be a charlatan, and sort of seen that in an industry like PT where they'll say all these sort of big words, but just get to the point, man. And it's a lot more effective way of communicating.
Yeah, and there's that saying as well, if you can't explain it to an 8-year-old, you don't really know what the fuck you're talking about, eh? You know what I mean? So, and that's the thing.
Is that Rich Dad Poor Dad?
What's that? Sorry, bro?
Is that in Rich Dad Poor Dad? That
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I've heard you say it a few times as well. So, and I think as well, I listened to a podcast that you did with Mark Boris, and I'll talk about that a little bit more. And I fucking thought that was one of the best podcasts that you've done, and you've done a lot. The one where you jumped on his podcast, and a comment that he made about Trent Robinson, the Roosters coach, is he's very intellectual, generous, which I think you are as well. And he really worded that really well. And I think that's what you are. Is that your intention?
Yeah, it's very Gary V model, and intellectually generous is. I think people just want to learn. People get scared off by school because we were pushed into this certain situation of education that wasn't always for everyone. But like, if I gave you a pill right now and go, you could learn, like you could be 10 times smarter. I don't think anyone in the world wouldn't take that pill because everyone wants to be smarter in some way, shape, or form. So yeah, that's always been a big part of mine. One of Gary V's big philosophies is give away like 99% of your stuff for free because most people can't do shit with it anyway. So I'm 4 years into this entrepreneur journey and I find that fact to be true. And it'd be like Richie Mo'unga writing like how to play first five for the All Blacks. And if he gave away every single secret, I don't think too many people will be able to do because there's different elements that come into it as well. So man, it's been a big part of everything I've done. I've obviously got paid platforms that I use like online courses and I pay for consulting. But yeah, that's most of it I give away for free.
Yeah, and that's awesome, man. And the fucked up thing is the way that people's mentality is. They like a lot of people are hesitant to spend money on themselves. They want instant gratification. They don't see if they spend money on themselves, it's going to come. It's going to be 10x later on in life. An example being, the latest kicks just drop out. They're happy to drop out 300 dimes on that, but fucking do an online course that costs them $50. Oh, I don't know about that, or even their health. You know what I mean? Even your health. How many times do people go, nah, fuck going to the dentist, they just rip offs. Oh, but how about, come on, boys, let's go on a lash tonight. Saturday night, drop $250, $500 on a lash, It's
have you ever looked into Dr. John DeMartini where he talks about the value factors?
Bro.
Yeah, bro, all this sort of stuff. And it's just what you value. So like when I was in my 20s, I valued having a good time. So going out with the boys and having beers and going on holidays, that's what I valued the most. So I wasn't afraid to spend money on it. But as I started to value education and self-education and my mind, and I started to see little bits of results, like having fun goes down a notch and then trying to like grow goes up a notch. So I'm happy to spend $5,000 on an online course because I get value out of it, and the ROAS off the back of that or return on investment is crazy. And if you spend $5,000 and you can make 25K off the back of that, I feel like that's a good investment. So
right,
yeah, that's what I do. And then as it starts to get bigger and bigger, you just start to spend more money. And there's a thing called the law of familiarity. So the closer you are to someone, the less likely you are to listen. So if your wife was to tell you something,
bro,
going,
fuck.
You know what I mean? So there's that fact as well. But the other part of it, it's free education as well. People don't want to take on free education. So the more money that you pay for advice or the further that you travel to go see someone. So if you fly over here and you have to pay $2,000 to have a meeting with me, and I said ABC, you'd probably be more inclined to take on that advice because you've gone out your way, you've actually spent your hard-earned money on it. So you would actually value that advice, where you could probably get that for free on the internet as well. So there's that sort of stuff that sort of comes into play as well.
Oh, me and the missus have that conversation all the time. I'm like, you should do this, and then doesn't do it, brushes me. Someone else comes into the conversation. Oh, yeah, fuck, that's a great idea. What did I think of that? Like, what am I over here? You know what I mean? Like, so I know, and I think you did the same with your missus, with your ex as well. Like, I'm sure it happens to all of us. I remember Rand's talking about it as well. So yeah,
universal law, bro. If you throw something up, it's going to come back down. It's just one of those things that you can't control.
And I want to talk about your Blueprint online course later on as well, because I think a lot of people will get a lot of value out. So I'll tap onto that a little bit later. So for those that are listening, just keep listening to a little bit more about that. So, bro, it's been a fucking hectic 12 months. We've gone through some crazy times. COVID obviously has been the biggest one of all, the last obviously 12, 18 months. What has COVID taught you, bro, in terms of either life and business?
Kind of enjoyed staying at home a little bit more, to be honest. I've always sort of been out and about. I'm starting to really enjoy my own space at home and my own, I know I make a lot of content and I'm comfortable talking in front of people, but I also have introverted tendencies as well. So I sort of gravitate towards that a lot. Like I spend a lot of time on my own in the morning and at night time on my own as well. Like I often eat dinner alone and stuff like that. Obviously helps when you're single. So I really started to enjoy that space. In terms of business, we actually really grew on the back of COVID. So Obviously, Gary Vee is always a big inspiration. And he said, oh, there's lots of shit entrepreneurs in the game right now. It's just a good time to be an entrepreneur because there's lots of money within the system. So from 2017, I was always kind of waiting for that challenge. I couldn't wait for that, like, oh, when's the recession going to happen? Because I wanted to test myself as an entrepreneur. But we went through it. Like after the day after COVID, I spoke to my accountant and went through. He's like, chop all your wages in half. So I had to come in, had conversations with all my staff and chopped our wages in half. But personally, I was making more money because I was doing online courses and stuff like that. So really pivoted during it. Multiple streams of income was really important, but I also took a step back as a business and looked at all our actual expenses because I'm not really a money guy or expenses or numbers guy. I'm like, shit, we're getting kind of fucked over here. So we actually changed our whole supply chain off the back of it. And now we're in a really good position. So
when you say you changed your whole supply chain, bro, so do you produce locally rather? Because I mean, trying to get shit from overseas is fucking almost impossible.
Yeah, we done both. So when I actually looked at our supplier, he had an interest rate on top of our payments that was 3%, and I thought it was 3%. But what actually happened, it started to occur each month. So if you didn't pay your in time, it'd go 6%, and then 9% and 12%. So it started to stack up. So over the course of a year, if you're late, you're paying 36% interest. And I didn't know that. He just thought, oh no, it's 3% a month. Like he kind of fucking shifted me with words, and I was very like trusting with him. And once I figured that out, we actually owed them like 500K. In terms like $500,000 with the staff, and we were able to flip that pretty quickly just by doing local production and pretty much go at a bolt.
And meanwhile, Sim is coming to you, bro, should I do a swipe up or a fucking? You're like, fuck.
Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah. So like that's an experience I went through COVID where when I interviewed Valentin Ozic from I Love Ugly, he had a very similar story, and I remember hearing about that story where they owed the bank $500,000. We owed our supplier $500,000. So we've gone through similar scenarios. So it's a lesson that I learned a lot from. Like, not too many people have to owe someone $500,000 and figure out how to do it in a couple of months, and we were able to do that. So it gives you confidence.
Yeah, well done, bro. That's awesome you come through that because fucking anyone could have crumbled during those tough times. So, yeah, I mean, COVID's for me, like COVID was definitely challenging from a work point of view, but from a family point of view, I loved it, bro. Fucking just staying home for 4 weeks. And I was tight with my son just before COVID, but going through COVID at the end of it, we were just like super tight to the point where when I was leaving, he was like, almost crying. The kids were almost crying. Oh, Dad, we don't want you to leave. And so those kind of, we don't want you to go. We, want you to stay here, hang with us. But what I felt pre-COVID, bro, I always think to myself, I've got a pre-COVID Stace and a post-COVID Stace. Pre-COVID, bro, I was fucking stressing about everything. Like, particularly with work, bro, because I sort of found myself, what I pride myself in doing well at work and sort of put pressure on myself and making sure I succeed. So, for example, I work for a sports company. I'm the sales manager here in New Zealand for a sports company, and we do a lot of wholesale to a lot of customers. And so sometimes if something was shipped incorrectly or priced wrongly or shipped, not complete, I always felt that was my responsibility for some reason. It felt it was a reflection on me. So I'd get fucking anxiety and thinking, oh, fuck, oh man, I've stuffed up. Well, not me, but the company's stuffed up again and as us collectively. But then during COVID, you're seeing what's going on around the world and shit, just, people are passing away and it starts putting life into perspective, right? And you're looking at your family.
Perspective's always important, bro. Yeah.
And I was driving to work pre-COVID and then someone would just fly in front of you without using intercom. Don't you know how to fucking, just start going off your driving. Yeah. You can't, and then post-COVID, be like, oh, fucking, there's more problems in the world than not something get charged correctly. You can fix it. So now when someone comes flying past me on the motorway without indicating, I'm like, oh, well, that dude's in a hurry. Yeah. So, yeah.
If you look into like Stoicism and Stoics and stuff like that, they used to always try and have this perspectives of themselves where they'll see themselves from a bird's eye view. Do you have a drone?
Nah.
Have you ever played on one?
Nah, but they look pretty cool.
Yeah, so next time like, you get a chance to play on a drone, like sometimes you have an iPad or a phone in front of you, and as you start to zoom out and go up, if you look at the drone, you can actually see yourself. So if you picture yourself from a bird's eye point of view, like at the time you might think your problems are big, but when you zoom out, like in context of the world, you actually don't really matter that much. And like this is the weird polarity of life that I'm really into right now is like everything that's opposite is actually the same. So like if it's hot and cold, it's just temperature, it's just at a different degree. So I take comfort in knowing that like in my mind, I'm one of the most important people in the world, but at the same time, I know that I'm just a piece of shit that's going to die one day. So a little bit dark, but I find comfort in knowing that, you know what I mean? So,
and that's what Gary Vee says too, right? Fuck, you're going to die, do something,
Yeah, that's it. And like, I owe someone $500,000 last year, but like someone's waking up going to die today. You know what I mean? So someone's got a funeral today. So context is always important, and it's a great way to live life, I reckon, because you always seem to pull yourself back to middle. So what I always found is like whenever things were really going well for me and I got a bunch of money, gratitude wasn't a part of my daily intake and philosophy at the time. So say I'd make a bunch of money, I'd start to carry on, and life would happen. Like universe would always pull me back to center, and I'd get fines and speeding fines and stuff like that. But it's just the world trying to balance me out. So what I find now, if I don't balance myself out, the universe is going to do it for me. Either way, it might be super negative, I'll pull myself back in. Super positive, I always try and pull myself back to center. So that's more Dr. John Demartini stuff as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, bro.
Nah, Mello's just getting crazy on it, is he?
Yes.
Yeah, nice. And so I guess with the terms of that balancing, bro, obviously you've shifted. I remember you used to say you used to be an evening kind of a bloke. You used to work fucking 18 hours a day and you thought, I've got to stay up, work all hours to the night and then up early in the morning. But now I see on your Insta stories that you've shifted a lot now towards your morning routine. So you're up at like sometimes 3:45 in the morning, hitting the road. Mate, talk us through that. Is that something that you've what was the idea about getting up so early in the morning, bro?
No, it's just sort of kind of my body clock at the moment. Like, I'm not setting an alarm or anything. It's just kind of like I roll over and wake up. But a sort of a big part of it was like, I was waking up around like 5:30, like go like jog, swim, coffee. And then by the time I get to work, when you get to work, you're just solving problems anyway. So someone come through the office, need to do this, need to pay this invoice, need to have this design done by then. And I remember an old footy player once told me with kids, and you probably be able to relate to this, is like smart parents wake up and have half an hour to themselves and have a coffee to themselves before their kids get up and get ready. And that always resonated with me. And that's just kind of what it is. So sort of from 3:30 to 4, kind of wake up, and gives me two and a half, 3 hours on my own. And by the time I get to the office, about 5:36, I'm nice and clear. And like, I don't know, like problems don't seem as big as what they were if I'm in a rush, and I get to do my own work before I do. And I've got staff now. So I've got like 6 staff that I need to look after and sort of point them in the right direction. So I've never been in this position before, but I find that couple hours in the morning really helps me.
And so like, yeah, that's cool, bro. And I remember what you were saying as well. Like sometimes we have our best ideas. We're in the shower, toilet, going for a run by yourself. Obviously you strategize, you do a lot of strategizing when you're going for your run. Just with that, bro. So would you just to sort of give context to some people out there, I love to try and bring value to the audience, is that, so when you trying to strategize, do you ask yourself your question of what you want to achieve before you run and figure out the answer on the run? Or do you sort of ask yourself your question when you're on the run?
That's actually a really good question. Bit of both. So sometimes, like what I used to do, I used to ask myself one question and then I'd try and think of the solutions off the back of it. So one of the questions I used to ask myself, this is a couple of years ago, like what would my ideal lifestyle look like? Like if I woke up in the morning, like where would I live? And at the time, I actually wanted to live really close to my office and be within like 1 kilometer of everything. I was able to do that. And then I was actually going for a run with one of the boys, and around Bondi. So we went Bronny to Bondi, went for a swim. I come to work and I actually felt really good. So pretty much the next day I was looking for a house out in Bondi. But yeah, it's kind of a bit of both. Sometimes I think about marketing strategies on a run. Sometimes something will just pop up out of nowhere. And it is being detached from technology. And like, I don't move too quick or anything. I'm not trying to break records, but just trying to solve problems and spend a bit of time in my own head. So it's kind of fun for me on those, because it's dark and there's only like kind of old people, like really old people walking around with like flashlights and stuff like that. But it's a time I really enjoy.
Bro, did I see one of your photos or videos that you put up? Someone was swimming at icebergs at 3 and 4 in the morning as well? Yeah,
about 4:30. You probably get some old timers in Bronte pool. There's another pool, a couple beaches over. Yeah, they go in and knock out like 2 to 5K. Yeah. Sydney's a vibe because it's like, it's not that cold compared to New Zealand. And when you live by the beach, like everyone's up and active in the morning. So it's inspiring to be around.
No, I always love Bondi, bro. I actually proposed to the missus over in Bondi as well when we were over there for a holiday. So
whereabouts?
Just up on the hill, on the grass hill. So, you're just up from, is it the north or the south? Icebergs. Yeah. So we went
south end.
Is that south end? Yeah. So we went up there and it's always a vibe down there, bro. It's pretty cool, man. You live in a fucking cool spot. Cool. Mello must love it hanging out down there as well, right?
Nah, he's fucking spoiled. He's too good.
Nice, bro. So you write down tasks. I mean, I'm all about, so it's going to roll into a planning conversation we're going to have shortly, but task is obviously a big thing. Every day you write down on your notepad, things you got to do for the day, or you've got your calendar as well. So you've got your time slots for every piece. Do you make sure that you finish each task first, or you're just like, okay, I've allocated that time and then move? If I haven't completed it, too bad, I'll move on to the next one.
So we've just moved into a process called OKRs. Have you heard of those?
Nah.
Objective key results. There's a book called Measure What Matters. Probably 3 weeks ago, I had a massive blow up in the office, and usually when I blow up, I sort of fall back into education or podcasts. And someone recommended a book called Measure What Matters. Sort of fell into that. So we use OKRs across the whole company now. We've got goal setting meetings today with the boys where very traditional Rockefeller stuff. So like there's company goals and everyone's individual goals have to align with it, or else you're kind of wasting time. And the analogy that they give, so each quarter everyone's going to have like big rocks, and you know that story about there's a teacher and he's got a glass jar and he's got rocks and stones and like dust. Like if you put the dust in or sand in first, you don't have time for the big rocks. So that's sort of where we're at right now. And like I said before, I've never been in a position where we've had this many staff and people, each staff member has got 5 rocks that they need to complete in the next 3 months as well. So we're moving towards that. But in saying that, one thing that I sort of focus on is HPA, high profit action. So when I do come in, the most important thing gets done first. And as a business owner, it's driving revenue and growth. So I try and do that thing first. If I don't need to do it, I'll start to delegate it to staff members. So whatever makes a business the most money or growth is my my task right now to nail.
It's all about moving the money needle, right?
That's it. And like growth's important. Like money's oxygen to a business, and I hired 2 new staff last week, and if I don't have money, I can't do that type of thing. So it's really important, and it's a real change in mind shift, because you go from doing every single thing and you spending like 16, 17 hour days to spending like less time, but you're more so on the business, but you find yourself a lot more, I wouldn't say stress, but there's a lot more. Like if I make 3 bad decisions at YKTR, this whole thing can go, you know what I mean? So your decisions become a lot more important.
Yeah, exactly right, bro. And I'd like to take you back to when you very first started in terms of when you actually kicked things off. And I remember you saying, and I remember listening to a podcast again, going back to Mark Boris, is that you were at a point where the whole YKTR almost fucking crumbled. You're sitting in a park on a park bench going, fuck, this is going to collapse. How did you pull yourself through that, bro, through that moment? Because I mean, there's a lot of people that are probably listening and watching at the beginning stages of their business, and they're just seeing all these bills coming through, and all these problems that are happening, good problems at the same time, but they could be overwhelming for somebody. How did you what strategy did you create for yourself? Because I know you had a big fear of not working for somebody else. That was sort of your motivation. So how did you create a strategy to pull yourself through? Because those days you were pretty much by yourself, right, apart from the 2 other brothers, but how did you pull yourself through that tough time, bro? After getting up off the bench, what was your next move?
You kind of answered my question. It was like, what do I do next? And so the old alternative, like, what else can I do? And when the thought of actually working for someone else made me feel worse, and how I felt on that bench, and I kind of moped about for about an hour or 2 hours, and just try to figure out a solution. I find when your back's against the wall, you can come up with some pretty good solutions, and especially when you hyper focus on it. But for me, it was just perspective, bro. I was like, fuck, the thought of working for someone else, like, made me feel sick. So kind of knew I was heading in the right direction. I was just a little bit early.
Yeah. And you like doing all 3. I mean, you started out doing vlogs, then you started doing your writing on your using Medium posts, doing your vlogs, blogs on that way. Then when you moved to a new office, you started creating your podcast, which is awesome. That's blowing up. How many streams have you had, downloads have you had so far, bro?
I think a couple million on the ICE project, and it's something that I don't really like. I've just about to put out a post today off the back of this. It's like I want to jump on 2 people's podcasts a week. So it's very much a Gary Vee model, where when I first started, all I wanted to do was kind of network of business people. And you sort of find in Australia, it's not that big of a place where there's that many people that I'm actually interested in podcasting. So I've kind of gone to the Gary Vee model, where a lot of my podcasts actually come from within the office, and I'll jump on a lot of other people's podcasts as well. So I can still knock out a lot of content without me actually interviewing guests. So yeah, we've definitely done a couple million. I think we average on about 7,000 to 8,000 an episode, which is pretty good numbers for a podcast. So I definitely think I can grow it. Just people sort of forget that I run businesses as well. So that's sort of my main priority. And I'm trying to help these other podcasts get bigger before mine, or up to the same standard or numbers as mine. So that's my focus as well. But I always do this type of thing because I do love it. It's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah, you've just answered my own question. I was just going to next point was going to be out of the three sort of types of content you talk. I mean, vlogging, posting, podcasting, and writing. What's your favorite? So obviously, podcast is your favorite, or was it vlogs?
Yeah, podcasting because you can actually turn it into the other three as well because there's a video format. If you pay attention to all the big sort of content creators like David Dobrik, Logan Paul, they went from daily vlogging into podcasting and now they're sort of moving into boxing. There's always trends that people need to follow. And I do love video. I do love vlogging. We've just hired a full-time videographer now. Also to the fact that we can look back in a couple of years and it's not like we go, you can tell we haven't popped up overnight because if someone says it to us, I just go on YouTube episode 1 or look at the first 100 episodes. Like we were struggling too, you know what I mean? So I'm glad we've done it for that stake. But yeah, you got to sort of nail all three to be honest, because some people that love to read, some people love to listen, and some people love to watch, and we try and cover all aspects.
Yeah, and Gary Vee just put up an email yesterday, and his what does he call it? His Gary Vee. Yeah, email, exactly what it is. And just said for the next 10 years, content creators are going to be a massive demand because everybody is going to need some form of a content creator. And I can see exactly what you guys are doing. You guys are, and this is going to lead into another question as well. A lot of people think you're an apparel company, but what do you guys see yourself as?
Definitely media, and you sort of hit the nail on the head. So we create media first, and at the bottom part of our funnel is we actually just sell clothes, so that's how we monetize. But the great thing about it is like I'm trying to move into a couple other things within the next year and a bit, but it's all off the back of content. So if you don't have attention, you call it product to market fit. So you build your market first and you can add a product later. So you're not so much guessing, where a lot of people, and we were exactly the same, where we just launched a clothing company, expected like Instagram followers to buy it. But then once we actually started to build media, written, video, audio, we sort of found everything just got a little bit better.
Fuck, hang on, bro. My camera's just shit itself. Can I just pause it for a second, bro? And just,
don't worry.
I think it's the half an hour thing, eh? Sorry, bro.
Yeah, sweet.
Sorry. Don't worry, bro. Sorry, bro. Fuck. Technology.
No worries.
Yeah, cool, bro. So now that's a good point. I mean, even this is a tip for anybody that's trying to put out a clothing brand. Don't look at yourself as a clothing brand. Look at yourself first as a media company in terms of, and when we say it doesn't have to be a media company saying, got all these big flash cameras, get your fucking phone or just and just record podcasts. You can record video. You can record yourself just by doing a daily vlog. You can use your phone to write emails. People think they've got to have all this flash technology, and sometimes we sort of use that as excuses. I know I definitely have used that before, that sort of a reason.
I look at some of the biggest influencers on Instagram. All they've had is their phone, you know what I mean? And they provided value in either entertainment or education, and sort of built off the back of that. And you can actually sell a product. You just need to get the attention somehow. You got to figure out whether you're good on audio, whether you're good on vlogging or written, and you build out like that. So it's massive. It's so important.
Yeah, and the other thing as well, there's always a saying, it's called people buy from people. I mean, that's, if they can relate with you, it's like, why do you like your favorite brands? Why do you like your favorite coffee shop? Why do you feel like anything that you resonate towards? It's not because the product's amazing. It's more so that you relate to that because you relate to that person. And I think that's what the people relate to YKTR so much. You've got Simi, you've got fucking Scope, you got yourself, and you got the board. You know what I mean? So it's you're coming from so many different angles. I mean, entertainment, business, things like that. And so obviously now you've seen that a lot more. And so now you're hiring as well. So you've hired.
Yeah. And I remember Gary Vee saying like he used to put out, say something like 35 pieces of content a day. And he goes, I wish I could put out 200. And I remember hearing that at the time, just saying he's exaggerating, but I actually wish I could put out like 100 pieces of content a day across a bunch of different aspects. You know what I mean? And we pump out a fuckload of content, but I'm always looking way to where we can add more, even podcasters or vloggers underneath our own channel and sort of pump it out like that, because I've just seen it work for us, and it's definitely scalable. And the more content you can make that's valuable in some way, shape or form, the better off you are going to be as a business in terms of branding. And you can always add products later. Products is probably the last thing that you add, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. And the funny thing is as well, I've had a couple of people hit me up going, because I've communicated with yourself and Lukey and Jackson, and they're like, bro, how do I get a job at YKTR? Fuck, it looks cool, man. It looks mad. And I'm just like, bro, I'd love to tell. I mean, it looks fun and looks cool, and I just know it's fucking harder than it looks, because all they see is the beer fridge, the boys having a fucking, like a laugh, but they don't see the grind that the boys get through from behind, and what happens behind closed doors. Well, not closed doors, like, but in the office.
Yeah, like sports, like it looks fun playing 80 minutes for the All Blacks, you know what I mean? But there's obviously a lot of work that's gone in behind it. Most people that have worked here had to go through like a period of not getting paid in any way, shape or form. Like I was probably the first one. I was about 16 months without getting a single dollar. Jackson was like a year and a half. Our intern's just done 6 weeks. Simi's done about 6 months. Scope was even longer. So they've all sort of put their best foot forward and offered value for free. And this is a big thing that D-Rock and Gary Vee always talk about. And I come from that school of Gary Vee, so I didn't sympathize for anyone for working for free because they were getting like experience and getting exposure off the back of that as well. So in terms behind like it is pretty rowdy in here. It's something that we're all getting used to. It's quite a confined space now with 6 or 7 people in there. So we do have fun, but there's also like a lot of hard work that goes behind it as well. So there's times that everyone will be on their desk and no one will be talking for about 2-3 hours, which is like normal because everyone's got headphones on and everyone needs to learn how to edit. So that's really important for what we do here. But yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's the right combination of hard work and fun, but kind of want to work a little bit harder too. So,
but I love all as well. I love what you do as well. You actually put into your day, go play basketball. You know what I mean? Like, so it doesn't feel like it's a fucking grind all day. You actually, hey, look, boys, we worked hard, tools down, let's go have some fun. Which is cool,
and I've
man.
always sort of kind of been big on like I never saw time as like the way to measure something unless you're doing like a race or something. So kind of like the boys, like we get here early, like I get here like 5:36. Jackson's usually here by 7, same as Lukey. We do our stuff that we need to do and then we start to help the boys. But like a lot of the boys, like I'm out by 2:33, gives me time to go home and do shit I want to do. The boys are free to leave whenever they've done their shit as well. So yeah, I just don't want to put restraints on them. But at the same time, if they're not doing fuck all, like I'll measure their time and see what they're actually putting out. So I'm happy to call it if they're not pulling their weight as well. So that definitely happens.
Bro, do you find you conk out? I mean, you're up at fucking crack of dawn, but you're waking the birds up in the morning. What do you find you conk out during the day, bro? How many coffees are you having a day?
Three coffees a day. Sort of have one straight away, then have one with the 2 boys when we get in. We sort of have a meeting and then probably one around lunch. So I'm in bed by like 7:30, 8. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm still getting my 7-8 hours. It's just I go to bed a little bit earlier.
So how about the
I
weekends?
have dinner at like 4:30.
What's that?
I have dinner at like 4:30. I drive home and I just go somewhere for dinner and eat and go home and go to sleep.
Bro, do you find yourself now when the boys go, bro, let's go for a beer, you're like, and you kind of brush them because you think, fuck it, you know,
yeah, 100%. But in saying that, like you get so much of your boy time at work because like there's a lot of shit talk that happens here as well. So to sort of work a long day, talk a bit of shit, then go out and talk some more shit. Probably outgrown that as well. Probably like 32 now. So we're just all saying the same. Yeah, we're just all saying the same shit anyway.
Flatmate Fridays.
Yeah, Flatmate Fridays. Yeah,
that looks like a vibe, bro.
Yeah, it is. I need to pull up. I've been going out too much lately, so got some plans for the next couple of months that I really want to build out. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, nice, bro. Hey, bro, just like I said before, I love bringing the audience some value. You've got a young kid. So imagine if you've got a young kid that's sort of going, hit you in the inbox, going, bro, I'm keen to start a business. I've got $2,000. What should my first moves be? Should be? I want to do a t-shirt company. Let's say.
Grant Cardone probably says it the best as well. So when you don't have money to invest in yourself. So invest in that circle around you. So everything that I've ever built, and I think Lukey gets a lot of credit for what he's done as well. It's all been self-education, and $2,000's a lot of money, especially when you got free access to stuff like YouTube and podcasts and stuff like that. So I'd double whatever industry I wanted to be in. I'm not just saying this because it's an online course, but I'll be spending money on education and on my brain first. That's what I'll be doing.
Bro, let's talk about the online course for a second. It's called The Blueprint. You put that out because whatever you've learned for the last 4 years doing YKTR, you wanted to share with an audience. Mate, do you want to tap a bit more about that? Because I think a lot of people will get some value out of that course, bro.
Yeah, I don't want to be too super salesy, but also like we've had people sort of get 6 figures off the back of that pretty quickly. And it's like people go into clothing and they go, oh, I love design. Or like they know how to put a couple of letters together and they think that's been a designer, where probably that's about 10% of everything that we do at YKTR. And basically what the blueprint is, it shows everything else that goes behind the scenes of how to make Instagram content, how to Facebook advertise, which is really important. Email marketing. Like I talk to brands that have been around for 5 years that don't even know where their email list is. So yeah, and they're just sort of floating about and getting by. So that was a course that launched about a year ago. I'm launching 2 more courses this year. One's just going to be like a collection of everything. It's going to be super cheap, like $60 a month. You can sign in, sign out whenever you want. My goal is to top it up every month with So Lukey's going to come on and do some education. Jackson's going to come on, do some. Eventually want to pay people to come on. So it's continuously getting upgraded. I'm sort of building that out. It's half built now. I probably could finish it in a week or two if we got cranking. That's going to come out, and then I'll launch another 2 after that as well. So, so like basically I charge like $1,000 for a consulting meeting for about half an hour. But this course will teach you 10 times that. And I'm probably going to chop the price in half pretty soon too, because there's going to be other courses in and around it. So a few things going on.
That's mad, bro. And because there's a fuck ton of videos in there as well. What do you got, 40 odd videos or something?
Yeah, I think Blueprint's about 50 videos. And like I said, like I do consulting sessions with people that pay me $1,000 for a meeting. I'll say 1 or 2 of those things and they'll leave and I'll go, there's like 50 videos of that type of shit. And yeah, it's that thing. It's like if you actually pay for it, you're going to take on that advice a little bit more than if it's free. So, but there's great value in free education as well. Everything that I'll teach you probably can find on YouTube. It's just you're going to have to do a fuckload of research.
But it's just, I mean, I love the whole thing of it's like you say, just that there's like you got to search for different things within your Blueprint product. You've actually even got your accountant Danny in there. Wow, I mean, accounting for a lot of people that just goes over a lot of people's head, and I can imagine he would make it pretty straightforward, wouldn't he?
Yeah. Things with accountants, like they're kind of like weird people normally because they're kind of socially awkward because they're very numbers orientated. But Danny's like really cool and really chill, and he's actually built really successful e-commerce businesses as a side hustle. So he's really important to get in there. Like accounting is one of those things where you think of business, there's operations, there's sales and marketing, and there's accounting. And if one of those things in your triangle is off, your business can collapse. You know what I mean? So accounting was the last thing that was sorted, and it's just a weight off the shoulders. It's accountability. It's like training with a personal trainer. Like he'll point you to the numbers to say this is where you need to improve or this is where you need to get better. It's just having someone that's accountable to is really important, and sort of take away the stress as well. So, man, accounting is like super, super important.
Loves an analogy. Sports trainer. Cool, bro. And so going back to that podcast you did with Mark Boris, bro, I love that whole podcast. The one you jumped on his one?
Yeah, the mentor. Yeah,
you did a bit of research, and I thought it was one of the smartest podcasts I listened to for a few factors, bro. You really connect with him in a way, and I think this is going to be a tip for a lot of people that are either doing podcasts with other people or having conversations with other people as well. Like you connected him straight off the bat, going, how he's it's coming through the conversation with saying about him being his nationality as being Greek, right? So you talked about Greek storylines. You talked about being with the Roosters, so there was a connection there again with the league. And I think you really impressed him as well, bro, in terms of connecting and understanding him as well as a person, as opposed to just being on his podcast ready to answer his questions. You understood him first as well.
And that's like everyone's favorite subject is themselves, you know what I mean? And when you sit in front of someone that successful, I actually didn't know who he was like a week before. So like people like, oh, you're jumping on Mark Boris. So like, I didn't know who that is. So I actually made sure I'd done some research on him and just found a couple of touch points. And one of them was obviously the Roosters as well. And Joseph Manu and Zane Tedavano were some of his players in his team, and they come from my hometown as well. So I was looking at his Instagram post and he was talking about storytelling as well. So a very big, important part so I knew that he was from Greek and he was from Punchbowl, which is kind of a rough area over here. I'm like, oh, you're from Punchbowl, right? Like I grew up in a town that's like sort of rough like that. So straight away there was a connection, and yeah, he actually really loved it. Halfway through, he goes to the toilet and has some water. They have an air break, and all the staff was going, he's like really into this as well. I've never really seen him like this as well. So I got a bit of a relationship with him as well, bit of preparation, and sort of can message him or email him and ask for advice. So
yeah, that's
pretty cool,
bro.
to have. Yeah, someone like that on your side.
Yeah, you could hear his voice change as you started saying little things like Punchbowl. And he's like, oh, fuck, Punchbowl's a great place. You know what I mean? Because you related that to Toke, so you had that connection there. And then you talked about footy. And then, so having to these relationships and these connections with him, you could just sort of see he opened up a lot more. It was cool, man.
You would have seen it. I wish they videoed it, because in person, because he didn't, he shook my hand. He didn't really say hello. And then he sort of sits down and sort of read the spreadsheet. And there's, all right, cool. So he's a professional. He knows what he's doing. He basically can run a podcast off a spreadsheet like that. And sort of like, honestly, within 3 minutes, like I seen his eyes pop up and his body language change, and he was like a lot more involved, and he was leaning towards the mic. And I know it's a cool feeling.
That's
it's a cool feeling. So yeah. And I actually on the podcast, and how I got Mark Boris to listen.
Bro, I tried looking for that. I could not find that fucking anywhere, bro. I tried looking back on your podcast. Is it on yours?
Yeah, I think it'd be on mine. Wouldn't be on his.
Yeah, I couldn't find that anywhere, bro, because that was the one how you talked about the strategy leading into that podcast. That was a good strategy. So anybody listening, go and search, just either pause this podcast or video and then just go search The Mentor with Ice or with Isaac John and listen to that podcast. Because if you talk about free content, fuck, bro, you threw out a bunch of free good content into that one, particularly about social media, how to use, the back end of YouTube and how you can follow somebody around using Facebook pixels and all this sort of stuff, bro.
Yeah. And that's type of stuff that marketers hide, like a DPA, dynamic product ad. Just using an app like Shoelace kind of eradicates the need for that as a digital marketer. And that's some of the biggest ways that they make money. They're like, oh, look, I've made you money, only spending this much. But it's basically an app.
Yeah. So do you use, is he like a mentor for you now, bro? Or do you have a mentor now?
I've got a couple guys that are Danny's sort of one of them as well. He's kind of my first reference point in terms of business. Jade Spooner, someone I've got really close with recently. We do a bunch of business content together. She's probably 3-4 years ahead of me in business. So she's kind of like within reach of where I want to go. And she's kind of been through the same problems that I'm going through now. And I've got another guy as well that I sort of rely on, but not Mark. But if I emailed him, I'm sure he'd help me out. So sort of cool to have that. Pip Edwards was another person that I leaned to on advice for clothing and manufacturing and stuff like that. So I've got about 4 people I sort of rely on. Not rely on, I love to soundboard off the back of them because a lot of times you know the answer, you just want to hear it from someone else.
Yeah, right. Exactly right, bro. So just as we're starting to wrap up now, bro, so I just got a couple more questions for you. So where do you see content and business going into the future, bro? So, for example, an example being like that movie. I love that movie, Ready Player One. Yeah, how the whole VR thing is going to come about. I talk to people about that and they go, oh, no, you're out of your mind about whole VR thing, about talking, like, fuck, who, like I said, like people, like this whole travel thing, right? People are going to chuck on a pair of VR goggles and if they want to go to, I don't know, Paris or, or they want to watch a live concert or a live basketball game, throw on a pair of goggles. And in that, you're going to see some marketing and advertising. I definitely think VR is going to be the way.
Yeah, obviously, I was actually on this random ass podcast last week and started diving into VR, and yeah, I see it as it being like that. So you look at our grandparents; they would have come home, listen to the radio. Like my parents used to come home and watch Shortland Street every single night. Attention was on, sit on the couch, watch TV. We've sort of moved towards phones. Once everyone's accessible to a VR set, the world kind of starts again. So there's obviously places like Decentraland where you can buy land, Earth 2 where you can rebuy land. The world just starts again. So what actually happens is everyone tries to grab land first because they've seen this all in the past, and then off the back of that, people start to build businesses. And like say all of us boys go home tonight and we've all got VR sets and we all go towards the same place. Like everyone's going to want the same shit. Like who's got the best clothes? Who's got the best? Like I was thinking about memberships as one. So imagine if you put on a pair of VR sets and you've spent $30 to join David Goggins' run club. So you've got a pair of VR on, you're running on the treadmill, you look to the left, you've got David Goggins talking to you there. It's just going to be the same shit that happens now. There's going to be memberships, there's going to be product, there's going to be services. It just rebuilds again. So, and the exciting thing for us is maybe me and you will be in our 60s and 70s and we can sort of relive our youth and stuff like that. So definitely going to happen. It's happening digitally with our phone. We spend a lot of time on Instagram, like a lot of our time goes there, and a social credit for us is followers and blue ticks. Same shit's just going to happen in this VR space as well. So I do think it's a long way off, but if COVID's taught us anything, it's sort of how fun it is to stay at home. But imagine if you can just put on the VR set, like you said, go watch basketball, go to a Travis Scott concert. You don't have to leave your house, but you have to pay $500. I feel like people are going to do that.
And get front row seats, right? Fucking
front row seats.
Bruh.
There's someone with context. There's someone with a VR set going like that at the actual thing. So it's going to happen. It already is. Obviously, crypto is a big thing at the moment. Tapered down a little bit because it's not as bullish as what it was before. But Ethereum and the platforms that everything's building on top of is going to be super exciting. So I'm paying attention. Yeah,
fuck, I could talk for hours about this stuff. I'm excited about the future because, imagine if we went back to like, I don't know, the 50s or the 40s or whatever, and we say, hey, what if I tell you can put your food in this box, push a couple of buttons, and it's going to, 30 seconds later, it's going to come out heated up, and they'll be looking at you going, you're out your fucking mind, get out of here. Or if someone's washing their clothes, scrubbing their clothes with a brush, and then you'd be like, hey, what if I told you can just put it in this machine, push a couple of buttons, 20 minutes, half an hour later, it's going to come out nice and clean, and they'll be looking kind of out sideways. So I think people don't understand what they don't know.
Phones are interesting. You've got access to every piece of information in the whole wide world on your phone. You got a camera there. You can film yourself. This is a scary one, and people just use it to chase girls.
Order food.
Good use, though.
Beauty.
Yeah, order food, Uber Eats, and chase girls.
Bro, as like we're almost getting to the end of it, bro. So I just want to ask you 2 more questions. So we've got you've come on a long journey so far, bro. So 4 years into it, and what if you look back so far, bro? What are you most proud of your journey so far, bro?
Man, I've got a couple messages around suicide, and it's like sort of men's mental health week this week. Probably about 7 or 8 people that saying they've contemplated suicide, and sort of the podcast has helped me get through, or the way you sort of live life has sort of helped me get through. So that's like, I don't know, like selling clothes is cool, but fucking someone sends you a message going, fuck, something like that. It's a bit of an eye opener as well. So, man, that's been pretty crazy. The reaction you get off, and I know like selling clothes is cool, but essentially it's like a piece of fabric, like just folded in a certain way, and it's got a brand on it. And we've seen people like cry and shit getting like a hoodie, like a black hoodie.
That was a dope story,
black
bro.
hoodie.
That chick getting that hoodie, bro. I remember saying that.
Yeah, so that stuff's super cool. We're working on something pretty soon that we're trying to launch in the next 3-4 weeks that I just want to put myself in situations that make me feel good, and at the moment it's giving back. So I feel like we're going to be able to give back a lot more pretty soon as a company, and sort of my job to steer that and put us in that direction. So that's kind of the vibe for me at the moment.
Mean, bro. I love that, bro. That's awesome. Bro, Gary, we all know Gary V's got his he's got his long-term goal of buying the New York Jets, bro. Any long-term goals for yourself, my man?
Nah, same as mine on today, just to be happy. I sort of measure success in that 5 seconds every morning. Am I excited to get up or not? And he's very similar. Like, he measures his success on happiness, and he always says if he doesn't get the Jets, that's cool. But I don't know. I feel like I'm excited about my life already, but I'm excited about my life in the future. And like I said, I feel like I can help a lot of people in many different ways. And I actually get a kick out of like building businesses as well. So this shit's fun for me. So I don't know. I think I've always been entrepreneurship and building businesses and trying to help people. And I don't know. That sort of gets me going. That's all I want to do.
Nice, bro. Way to finish that off. Thank you, brother, for your time. I always appreciate it, man. And thank you to Lukey and Jackson as well for setting this up. And like I said, I think I speak on behalf of a lot of people out there listening and watching. We do truly appreciate seeing and seeing what you do, what you get up to. Like you say, those messages that you get talking about how people are saying, you've changed my life just by sharing your journey, or, just watching your lifestyle, or just having fun and just enjoying life. We truly do appreciate everything you give for us, brother.
Thanks, my guy. Thanks for jumping. Oh, thanks for having me on as well. So pumped to see your growth as well over the past couple of years, and looking forward to the future.
Thank you, my bro. All right, team. Thanks, guys.